So this is Percy. He's a little over 1 year. He's full grown now, so he shouldn't get much bigger unless we're talking about the stomach because he likes to eat. But he's got pretty long nails. You're welcome to trim them if you'd like. I try to trim his, but sometimes they don't like it, so I don't always get around to it. He does pretty well with people. It depends on if he knows you or not. So he loves me and my roommate and my girlfriend, but some people he just tolerates them. Some people, usually girls, if they're really loud and they have high-pitched voices, or anybody more than 3 or 4 people in a room, he gets a little freaked out. And sometimes he'll try to nip at him. He's bit me probably once or twice pretty good, and he hasn't since. He likes to nibble kind of like this. He has bit about 3 people though pretty bad. But you'll know if they make weird noises, high-pitched squeals when you're trying to pick them up or something. Just put them down. But other than that, he's pretty good. They love to be on high ground, so they always like to walk on your shoulders and stuff like that. But every prairie dog's different, just like every person is different. And the more time you spend with them, the more they grow to love you. Right now he loves my finger. So they're just like friends, just like a friendship. The more you hang out with them, the closer they get with you. They can get depressed, so make sure you are spending time with them. They recommend at least 1 hour a day. Obviously more times better. But if not, they can get really depressed. So they do recommend getting them in at least a buddy too. So I just got him a girlfriend after a year, and she's about 3.5 months. So I'll show you guys her as well. But once again, this is him full size, a little skittish, but that's him. So like I said, he likes to walk on your shoulders, on your back. I take him to parks, and he kind of just chills and hangs out, as you can see. So this is Penelope. I call her Penny for short. She's about 3.5 months old. So as you can see, she's still a little more skittish than Percy was. She likes to walk on you as well. She got pretty comfortable with me pretty soon. Different personality, just like Percy. She's a little bit more friendly with people right away. Way more vocal. She chirps and barks and yelps so much more than Percy. Percy didn't do it until like 2 months after I had it, and day 1 she was already yelping. So some people find it cute. The only time I don't really care for it is whenever I'm trying to sleep and she just keeps yelping at me to play. But so she's a lot smaller, as you can see, but she's growing, so she'll get bigger. Pretty good balance, and they are great climbers too. Amazing escape artists as well. So make sure that if you have a cage, make sure everything is completely closed and there's no way for them to get out. First day I had her, I came home and she was on top of the cage. And then the first day I had Percy, I left and came home and he wasn't in his cage, but nothing was open on his cage. And I was like, oh shoot, where's he at? Sure enough, the bar came unsoldered, and he got through and I couldn't even tell, and he was in my blankets asleep. So just know that they are really good escape artists. But yeah, so this is Penny, a lot smaller, the female, but she's pretty lovey-dovey too, and she likes to cuddle too. So the earlier you play with them, the better. That way they get more used to you, and they like to hang out. This is the size comparison, and that's a chirp, but different in sizes. They like to climb, as you can see. But at first they didn't really care for. She loved him, and he didn't really care for her. But they're getting best friends now. They share a cage now, and they're becoming inseparable. So that's pretty cool. So this is their cage. It's a Critter Nation cage. It's pretty well built. I like it a lot, and it's easy to access and open and everything like that. Try to get a cage that has smaller openings, like you can see the bars that go across. It's less than 1 inch, and that's good, so that way they don't push their nose through it and then get sores on it whenever you're not home. They like to do that a lot. But basically, this is the setup. So the top left, I have a little hay ball that they like to spin and kind of play with it as they get some hay. Got a couple shelves in there, lots of bedding and stuff to cuddle with because they love to do that. On the right, I just made a little toy for them to play with, a couple straps tied around a carabiner, and they like to tear on that and pull it and stuff. And then towards the bottom, I've got a little litter box for them. As they go to the bathroom, they go in there. Usually, every once in a while they'll have a little mistake, but usually they go in there. And then you got your food and water, of course, that's important, as well as another little sack for them to cuddle in and play with, sleep in there, and all that good stuff. And then also I have just a wooden box in there that I like to chew on, something to keep them their teeth filed down because they're huge chewers. So that's why for the bottom I have that metal tray, because they were chewing through the plastic liner. So I got that metal tray, and that works really well, keeping most of the shavings in as they play around. So as far as food, they eat Timothy hay. Make sure you never give them alfalfa hay because it's really bad for them. And make sure any type of food you give them, it always says Timothy hay and never alfalfa. A lot of things will say Timothy hay, but when you look at the ingredients, it also has alfalfa in it. So just be mindful of that. Other than that, they eat oats. They love oatmeal. Just regular oats, not cooked or anything like that. I give them a little bit every morning of that. And then also as puppies, they eat puppy chow. And then once they get older, we stop giving it to them so that way they don't become overweight. That's a huge problem for prairie dogs. Other than that, every once in a while I'll give them little treats of fresh fruit. They love sweet potatoes and grapes and carrots and all that good stuff. But every prairie dog is different, so it's going to like different things. So as far as bathing and keeping them clean and all that good stuff, I give them baths in the bathtub or sometimes the sink. You have to be really careful because if they don't like the water, they'll scratch you or they could even bite you. He got my roommate once, but hasn't gotten me, thankfully. I always just put warm water in the bathtub and use a little bit of dog shampoo, and I just always make sure that I don't rub it in anywhere near their eyes or anything like that, so that way it doesn't bother them. And I just use a cup and just pour it over them. And as long as you're calm and you talk to them calmly, they're pretty good about it. Some prairie dogs love water and they'll swim in it, and then other ones hate it. So the earlier they're exposed to it, the better they like it. But definitely only do it like once or twice a month, so that way you don't dry out their skin due to the natural oils that they have. As far as trimming their nails, you can trim their nails. You can just use like the dog nail clippers, or you can even use just regular human fingernail clippers. Just be careful not to go too short. So it's better to cut off not enough than too much. So I always just do the tips and then kind of work my way up a little bit. Sometimes they let me do it, sometimes they want nothing to do with it. So you kind of get it when they first wake up, and if you can get them then they're real calm and chill. So you can do that just to prevent them from scratching you so much. But they are natural diggers, so they're going to have nails, and they're going to want to use those nails. So if you give them something to play with, that kind of helps file it down too, especially when I take them out for a walk or something. That'll help file the nails down as well. So as far as taking them out, the younger they're exposed to different stimuli, the better. That way they're not as spooked as easily. So I take him on walks. I started off with a little collar around Percy, and then after he had the collar, he had like a ferret harness that I got him, and so he wears that whenever I take him on a walk. He hates things that are like wrapped around him, like a shirt or something like that. But if it's just a thin collar or the harness, he's fine with that. So the younger they're exposed to wearing something like that, the better. So that way they get more used to it. As far as walking them, you can't really walk them like a dog, like really far, but I take them to places on the leash and they'll walk around. They like to stay close to me, close to the pack, and they like to be on high ground, so if you're just sitting or standing near them, they'll always try and jump and walk on my shoulder and look around from up high. It's naturally instilled in them because they are prey, not the predator, so they're always on the run, watching out for birds and stuff like that. as far as like their sleeping schedule, if I'm home, if I'm playing with them, then they'll be playing, and whenever I leave, then they go to sleep. So if I'm home or away most of the day, they're gonna sleep all day. So when I get home, they're ready to play. If when I'm ready to sleep, they want to play, and they'll start shaking the cage, asking me to play with them. So keep in mind that they do need a lot of interaction. They don't need all the time, especially if they are in twos, because they can play with each other. But you definitely don't want to neglect them, because they can get really depressed and even die of depression. I have a wheel, but neither of them really seem to like it. Penny likes the ball, like a huge hamster ball, 12-inch hamster ball, and Percy doesn't really like being in it. So each prairie dog's different. Like I said, they have different personalities. The main way I get them exercise is either by walking with them. They like to play chase and tag with me and my roommates running down the hallways. And then also just like play wrestling with your hands. They like to do that as well. Got to be pretty fast though, because sometimes they get a little carried away and they'll try and nip at you. But overall, they're pretty fun to play with. So I think I covered pretty much everything that I could think of. If you guys have any other questions or need any further explanation, feel free to ask me in the comments. Like I said, this is just the way I raise them. This is the way I've taken care of them. I've done a ton of research. Some people may say different things, but what I've done has worked, and they're perfectly healthy and happy. The only thing I forgot to mention is definitely try to get them fixed before they are adults. So you can only get them around March through like June is their breeding season, and try to have them fixed by their first year, the beginning of September, so that way they don't learn like territorial behaviors and such like that, and it keeps them from being a lot more aggressive. So Percy's fixed. Penny isn't fixed yet. She will get fixed probably in a couple of months. It cost me about $150, I believe, to get him fixed. Same day operation. Just make sure you find a vet that has done it before. The first place I went, they said, "We've never done it before, but we'll try it." But it is my pet, so I care about him, so I don't want to just have him be the guinea pig. No pun intended, because he's a rodent. But I went with a different place, and they've done it on hundreds of prairie dogs. So definitely try to find a vet that is familiar with exotics. Like I said, if you have any other questions, feel free to comment, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.